Is that good?
Yeah, there you are.
Hey,
Let's do it again.
hey everybody, how's it going? Full class, what's up? Wow.
So hopefully you can. All right, you can hear them. I'm just getting everything set up here. They are joining. So if you have,
It's a lot of things to look at. Not gonna lie.
Let me see.
Yo, better score that.
All right. So I have it on Spotlight. So if you change your view to Spotlight, you should be good. 1 second. All right, guys. So listen up. We're gonna do our. We're gonna have our guest speaker Hans here, who's in front of the. Let me take a picture first, because I don't want a picture. Hans wants a picture. I gotta get in there. So this is actually much better than when we did it the last time in my other class, because you guys can actually see him. He can see you guys for the most part if you're in there. All right, so you guys all submitted questions. All the classes did, but I think what the best thing we're gonna do is, first of all, we have to talk about your highlight tape. We watched it, and I'll tell you how I explained it to everybody, especially my bits. So this is an athletic coaching class, but we all need jobs. So, in the way that you got to keep your guys. You got to keep it on no set. Lewis, I see you. The way that I explained that highlight tape, I said, listen, these are all the things, and we still have to wear masks. That's why I look like this. It's not like I have a Mortal Kombat tournament after. What I said was, when you're looking for a job, there's a million applicants, however many applicants, you need to separate yourself. And we actually watched it way more than you think we probably would have. Because with the business classes, I stopped it after every word like that you had like about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the big opening of a resume. But what's better to watch? What's better to do? Watch this video or read a resume and want to just stab yourself in the eye with a pencil?
Facts,
That was kind of with that. But why don't you just tell us who you are and how you got to this seat?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me. Coach reached out to me, and it's a good opportunity for me to just kind of give you guys some advice on, I was in the same seat as you guys, and just pushing it forward, the advice that was given to me in your seat, and I'm pushing it forward to you guys. So thank you for having me. My name is Hans. I work for Stadium Live as a digital and in-app operations manager. And I've been with Stadium Live for over a year. But prior to that, what really got me here was a big journey that I took on, which involved creating videos like that one you saw, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to get into. And it just kind of built me to where I am today. And I know like a lot of you guys may be interested in the sports industry. It's definitely a difficult industry to get into. And you got to think outside the box of how can you beat everybody else to get that position. So thank you for having me today.
One of the things we looked at right off the bat was the portfolio, and your portfolio and stuff. And a lot of students are into like the graphic design.
Right.
And I know with like tech for me, because I did tech at school, it was just learning on my own. But like, how did you get into the whole graphic design? How did you get good at it? Let's put it that way.
I mean, I wouldn't fully say I'm super good at it. It is something that piqued my interest, just, looking at content all day on Instagram, YouTube. It's something that I had interest in. And I took the initiative to kind of learn those skills on my own. Because a lot of jobs that you're looking to get into require these skills. So you kind of just go on YouTube, you kind of download it, you kind of test some stuff out. So just learn it on my own.
Gotcha. One of the things that we talk about in this class a lot, is like from day one, is it goes through all my classes. I'm a big motivation guy. So like, what's your why? Like what motivates you to just wake up every morning? Not every day is the best day, so like what pushes you to keep going?
No, that's a great question. I would say that your why definitely will change and alter and pivot throughout your life. My why of what motivated me when I first started out is different than my why where I am right now. So my biggest why when I started off where you guys are. these guys are super distracting. The picture is funny. My biggest why when I first started out was I was in retail banking. I was in the financial industry, not in sports. I always had an interest in sports, and I wanted to I didn't really know that you can get into sports like through content or whatever. I always had that thought in my head, and I didn't really like what I was doing with banking. Like, yes, I was like climbing up the ranks in banking, building a pretty good career, making money and all that, but it wasn't my true passion. So I really thought the biggest why or motivator was I didn't want to later in life be like, what if I tried to get into sports industry? What if I tried this? What if I tried that? What if I tried to worked harder? I didn't want to have that thought running in my head because I knew it would eat me alive. So,
and one of the things that I tell especially this class, my athletic coaching students, is if they're into sports, like coaching or what, no matter what it is, they're young, but like the first day when they go to, if college is the next step, the first thing they should do is find out, like, all right, who's in charge of, I want to be, not a captain, but I want to be a manager. So who do I talk to, or who do I, to get that, so people know who you are. Like you said, your why changes. When I was in high school, I thought I was going to play at West Virginia. I was going to play basketball. I was going to go to the NBA. Then I went to an AAU tournament when I was 15, and me and my buddy looked around and were like, oh my gosh, there's more than just North Jersey basketball. We need to start studying because everyone is 8 feet taller than us. But what I was, now I completely forgot what I was going with that. Yeah, I think you hit something big. Like, you don't want to like look back and be like,
yeah,
what could I have done? Like, so, and this will be the last time I make it about me. I grew up, and my father, my family had a ravioli business, pasta business in the city, and everyone in my family just did that and went and did that. And I remember when I graduated, I was like, but what if I don't want to do that? Like, I went and got a business degree, but I like coaching, I like teaching, whatever. So, I tried that out. Now, when I was growing up, I was told that video games were going to rot my brain. That's what I was told. And then we as a class, we looked at how the Gabe stopped. We looked at how Japan opened that first sports school. So, like, was the streaming that you do, was that just kind of come along with the graphic design and being part of Stadium Live and being like, all right, we need people to be streaming different games, like Rocket League, like Mario Kart, or was it ever a thought, like, I want to be a streamer, or like, I want to be not behind the scenes?
I would say that streaming, my job description didn't require streaming. I didn't get hired to be a streamer. It kind of just became an opportunity that was given to me that I had some interest of doing, and now I'm doing it. I've been playing video games my entire life. I never thought, oh, I can make a profession out of this. It kind of just came with the role of content. We're a smaller team, so we're trying different things that a bigger company would have. We kind of have to put on a lot of hats here. So I'm streaming now, creating content, but that wasn't my main focus or goal, especially like coming up as well. Like, when I first started getting into the sports industry, I don't think streaming existed. Twitch is completely new within, I would say, like 5 years. So that wasn't like a thought in my head. Instagram was still pretty new at the time. Content creation, graphics, videos, that was kind of like the area I was in. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. Is streaming is just an added bonus at this point.
Speaking of, you said Instagram, what is your favorite social media platform to edit on? Is it Instagram? Because, like, it's crazy. I see the polls on Stadium Live. This generation is TikTok, right? And Instagram. And like if you're on Facebook, people will be like, with Facebook, like my dad's on Facebook, sending, like, so for you, what do you find is like the maybe not the best, but the most efficient, like you get the most out of which social media platform?
TikTok, 100% TikTok. TikTok is a platform for entertainment, really big of Generation Z, millennials as well. And creating content on TikTok is just, they make it so easier for you, different effects, different editing styles and stuff like that. And to go viral overnight on TikTok is a lot easier than going viral on YouTube or Twitch or Instagram. So definitely TikTok is the number one.
Yeah, it does seem like, and this is for all you guys too, like the platforms that are like made for mobile are the easier to like Twitch really isn't made for mobile. Like I had no idea what Twitch was maybe until like a week ago. Like I knew what it was because I had it on my phone and I would use it on my phone, but I had no idea how different it was when you were on like a desktop, like the things that you can do and stuff.
Oh, Twitch is crazy.
Yeah,
it's a whole different world.
I've been getting into the marbles. Don't get me started. Anyway, who, like when you were growing up, like who inspired you? And it doesn't have to be a business person. It could have been LeBron James, Michael Jordan. Like who was your inspiration? Like who did you look up to? Like I told them I had Kobe Bryant over my bed when I was growing up. Like
no. When I was growing up, I had a lot of different inspirations. People that I looked up to could be managers, professors, coaches, people that you hang out with. They motivate you as well. Something that I recommend everybody does is the people that you associate yourself with, you will become more like them. So if you hang out with people that have the same like-minded goals, that we all want to go into the sports industry, hanging around with them, you will all push each other to achieve that. If they all make the sports industry, you will push even harder to make it as well. So finding motivation in that way. And of course, athletes, a lot of sayings that they say is like, very, quotey or whatever, but it's actually true. One inspiration that I can think of is that if you chase your dreams, you can live with the result as long as you put in the work and did everything you can do that's out of your control. You can live with the result, whether you make it or not. And that's like, facts.
It's like I would tell my players as a coach, like we don't want to lose to a team that worked harder than us. There's going to be teams that are more talented than us. And if it's like John Wooden says, if you can look at yourself in the mirror after your game and say, I gave everything I possibly could and still lose, then you lost. Like that's just, you're not going to win every single game. This is a good specific one. How did you get connected with the internship for Canadian basketball? Now, I doubt anyone here will be going into Canadian basketball, but they're all going to be looking for internships eventually. So like, how do you find an intern? Like, how did you find that?
Well, for me, I kind of went on a whole networking journey. I was in retail banking. I worked for a bank, doing a job, during my last couple of years of university, college, I was in banking. That's what I wanted to do at the time because everyone else was doing it. I wanted to do it as well. And then one day, as I'm a bank teller, I'm serving a customer. I was finding out what she does and stuff. She told me she works for a big social media sports company in Toronto called The Score. So she worked at The Score. Yeah.
That's Toronto. That's the one sports app I think that's made it from every single cell phone.
Yeah, they're huge.
It's the one that it's like my go-to over everything.
Yeah.
Louis,
so I connected with her and I took down information. I want to learn more about this. And she said, you know what? Why don't you come to the office? I'll give you a tour. So I was like, okay, cool. So I suited up. I put on a suit. I did everything. I show up to this to their office. I kid you not, everyone's in sweats and hoodies. And then she told me that, oh, you didn't have to do that. I was like, oh, no, I just came from a dinner. But in reality, I bussed there for 2 hours because I wanted to give a good impression so I can get a job. So that's kind of how this whole getting into the sports industry started. And now, okay, I'm in banking. I'm not associated with sports. What can I do to get closer to getting into the sports industry? So at the time, I worked for a bank called CIBC. BMO, Bank of Montreal, was a sponsor of the Raptors. Okay, cool. I can do what I'm doing at CIBC, but at BMO, same thing. But now I'm with a bank that is a sponsor of the Raptors. Cool. So I do that. Got a little bit of pay bonus as well. I do that. And then now I'm like, okay, I work here. I can message anyone in the company. I can connect with anyone in the company. I message people in the marketing department for banking. I meet with them. I have a coffee date. I prepare questions. I ask them, hey, is it okay if I write down answers and stuff like that? I offer to pay for their coffee. It's a good impression. Kill that. They recommend me to somebody else. Kill that. They recommend me to someone in sponsorship now. Kill that. And then now he recommends me to someone in sponsorship for NBA Canada. Now I'm in NBA Canada talking to people there. Talk to the guy there. Now he talks to me to people, the guy in marketing for NBA Canada. Now I'm talking to the guy that I want to do what he's doing. So that kind of whole thing, this kind of journey, it took over 2 years, by the way. It's not like 1 month you meet all these people. It takes time. He was my connect when I applied for Canada basketball, because I reached out to him like, hey, is NBA Canada, did you have internships? He said no. I'm like, what about Canada basketball? Like, yeah, send me your resume. Boom, I got an interview just like that. So that connection, that relationship I built got me to Canada basketball. And when I was at Canada basketball, I didn't stop. I didn't settle. I was like, oh yeah, I made it. Boom, boom, boom. I kept networking. I kept meeting new people. I kept building skills. I kept growing. Because I knew how tough I failed so many times trying to get to where I am today, that I knew I had to really step it up, go outside the box, make videos, do this, make an Instagram page, intern over here, intern over there. But yeah, that's kind of over the question, but
no, that's
networking.
And yeah, well, and it brings me, like, one of the things that Hans had said to me previously was that you wish that there was, and I know probably none of them use it, and maybe this will make them use it, that you wish that LinkedIn was around. Because it makes, and why do you say that though?
Because LinkedIn is really a platform for you to build your career, for you to talk to the people that can help you get the career that you want. It's a platform that wasn't around when I was in university or high school, not at university near the end of it, but in high school, there's no LinkedIn. If I had LinkedIn when I was in high school and I was given advice on what to do, I would connect with people. I would talk to people that are in the industry or the company that I want to work for. For Stadium Live, I saw the job description and the posting. I literally messaged every single person that works at Stadium Live on LinkedIn. Some of them didn't message me. Some of them did. Just by doing that gives you an edge over people that just submitted a resume. So LinkedIn, huge. Coach, I know you're on LinkedIn. So I think what you're doing is amazing, by the way.
Thanks.
And even athletes like Odell Beckham Jr., athletes are starting to use LinkedIn to build their businesses and their after playing careers. So LinkedIn, it's a little tedious to make a profile. You got to put in, you got to really think about what you put on your profile, job descriptions, details, experiences, but it is necessary for sure.
And what I like about it too is it's just so much easier to find everyone or everything that like you can just go in and be like, I want a job and type it in. One thing that you mentioned about reaching out, and I try to stress it to them, like with coaching, what I would do every summer in college, I would just write letters to a bunch of coaches, like MBA, college, whatever, just for advice, feedback. And what was neat was, a lot wrote back more than I thought. I actually have a voicemail. UB Brown left me a voicemail. He called me. I wrote a letter to his house. I had to look him up, and he wrote me. But the funniest part is he got cut off like 2.5 minutes in, and I see I have another voicemail. I didn't answer the phone because I was like, I won't know what to say. I'll forget. And the second voicemail is UB Brown continuing, and he goes and gives me advice. But I think that a lot of times that you might get afraid or embarrassed, but people like helping each other. It's weird. For the most part, I've found that people, especially with coaching and creative industries, they do like to help you.
100%. Because people help them. And they want to push it forward.
Exactly.
That's what it is. And guys, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to embarrass, because you will. You will get embarrassed. You will fail. I failed tons of times. And it sucks. But the feeling of not trying and giving up will hurt you more in the end. It'll eat you alive.
Yeah, I agree with that. What now? Go into your actual we'll talk about your day to day. What's the hardest part of your job? What's the most difficult thing to do? For me, it's classroom management, which is keeping all these lunatics at bay. But what's the hardest part of your job?
I mean, a lot of my job is very technical, straightforward, in-app operations, making sure the trivias are up, dropping questions for streams. The hardest part, I would say, is the content creation. because our target audience is Gen Z, and there's a term going around that Gen Z is the House of Highlights generation. You guys get tired and bored of content so quickly that content creators, we have to keep changing and altering what we do, or it's going to go stale very quick. So I think that would be the hardest aspect of my role currently, because every 2 weeks I'm like, I gotta do something new, and it can be a little stressful, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I now that you said that, I really I totally get what you're saying. Like, what's the best way to get in touch with get your social media out there might not be the best way to do it in like 2 days. And the House of Highlights is funny that you say that, because like I'm not that much older than these guys, maybe 20 years, but I would have to wake up in the middle of the night to go check the scores, to check the highlights of the Lakers, because you wouldn't get that in the newspaper or whatever.
Yeah. And like myself as well, I don't watch full games anymore. I don't like, who really sits down, unless you're really interested in that game, who really sits down to watch a full sports game?
And who does it without their phone in their hand?
Yeah.
We're not on there.
Nobody. No one sits down on their couch and just watches a game without their phone.
Yeah, and it's funny because now I watch most things on my phone because my kid is watching TV, so I'm watching my like we got a new TV, sports for the basement, so Dad can go down there. No,
the child
or whatever, and
yeah,
I'm on here. I just want to see. I want to get some good questions here. So I did show, like, we looked at your portfolio and we watched a little bit of one of the racing, the Mario Kart. And the answer could be there is none. But what is there a difference between Hans Johns and Hans of Hoops? Or is Hans of Hoops just like a more what's the word I'm looking for? Like honest interpretation of you?
Yeah. So it's 100% me, but certain aspects of me are amplified. So that would be the difference right there. 100% you, but certain parts that work, that are entertaining, you amplify that.
And like any job, you might not have a ton of energy one day, but when you're Hans of Hoops, you have to have the switch, right?
Yeah. And even if you're trying something that's not you deep down inside, people that are watching you, they can tell. There's tons of stuff that I've tried on stream where, I've been told, oh, maybe let's try being more a little analytical with like stats and stuff like that. And deep down inside, I'm like, that's not really me, but I'll give it a try. And it comes off as I'm script reading. So people pick up on that a lot. So I would say if you're streaming, 100% you, find out what works and then just amplify that.
Now with like the social media stuff, how much analytics do you look at in terms of like, because this is stuff they probably don't, the students have probably never even looked at. But how much analytics do you look at in terms of how many people, like your reach, like how many people you're reaching, how many people, how much of that is your job? Part of your job?
Now it's very important. When I first started over a year ago, it wasn't really. We were just kind of testing things out, seeing what goes out and does well. But now, like, I'm literally tracking every single week. How are these posts doing? How's the reach, the impressions? Tracking it all on a document, and we have targets that we want to hit. How do we get there? So it's very important, especially if you're a content creator or a streamer. You want to get familiar with these numbers because you want to use that to your advantage to grow. So very important.
Yeah, I think one of the things like we talk about with target markets and stuff, the commercials that are on during the day when you're homesick are usually for like retirement or getting a job. And it's the same thing with social media. Like there is a very specific reason why you're posting something at a certain time, right? Like It's not just like, oh, I'm going to go post this really important promotion right now because whatever, I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, for sure.
And how do you learn that?
How do you learn that?
Yeah.
You gotta just gotta. I mean, a lot of social media platforms, they have this information available to you off a click of a button. But what really got me to learn it was talking to other people that are in the same type of role, and then seeing what their insights are and what their tips are for looking at these numbers and tracking them. But Instagram, TikTok, it's called Insights. If you click that, it'll show everything pretty detailed. And there's also other platforms that you have to pay for them, but they give you everything. They give you hashtags and stuff like that. That stuff is out there for sure.
How, and this is because you have more experience than any of us here, how important really is an athlete's public image?
I would say an athlete's public image is really important. Any image for anyone, you don't even have to be an athlete. Your image is, you got to protect that with your life. Because particularly for athletes, your playing career, you're not gonna play forever. You got to think about what you're gonna do after your playing career. So recently, I watched the Neymar docuseries on Netflix, and what his dad is doing for Neymar. Building a business for him so he can take care of it when he's done playing, because he's not gonna play forever. His image is very important. Neymar has been notorious for having a bad image, not caring, just partying, all that. And his dad is like reminding him, hey, like, you gotta have a good image, because once you're done playing, which is coming up, what are you gonna be doing, right? So, athlete or whatever, your image, your reputation, protect it with your life, because it's really, really important.
It's funny you say that, because we'll watch that probably. We watch a lot of things. We're watching King Richard right now, the Richard Williams story. And there's actually a scene where Venus Williams is being interviewed, and we watched the real clip, like, 'cause it's a real life clip, and we watched the Will Smith version. And the guy keeps asking her, like, why do you think you're good? Or like, do you think you're good? And she's like, I'm great. I'm the best. And he keeps asking her. And Richard Williams comes in and it's like, she done answered the damn question. Like, you're dealing with a 14-year-old, a black 14-year-old young girl's image. And if you cut this up and it's just her being like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. Now everyone's going to be like, oh man, that girl, like she like, what a, I don't know what the word would be, but what a not a good public image that would have.
Yeah. It's crucial. It's definitely important.
What have you been able to, like, what's the coolest thing that you've experienced because of your job, whether it's from Stadium Live or one of your graphic design? Like, what's the coolest experience that you've had that you wouldn't have had unless it was one of these jobs? Like courtside seats or something, like, you know what I mean? Like something like that.
Yeah. When I was at Canada Basketball, I went to a lot of NBA events. I went to the G League showcase. They sent me up there for the weekend. I was just hanging in the bleachers with other news reporters, other social media people, just watching basketball. Super, super cool. I also went to, it's kind of like the McDonald's All-Star game in the States, but in Canada, it's called the BioSteel All-Canadian game. Kind of new as well. I went to that, kind of got to interview some players. I actually interviewed Anthony Bennett. I know he's not the best player, but it was actually pretty cool talking to him, interviewing him. So that was pretty cool. And at Stadium Live, man, I'm living a dream.
Yeah.
I'm living a dream. I feel like I can tell you that I feel like I don't work a day of my life. And that I 100% tell the younger generations to chase that. Don't chase the money right away. Chase your passion, because the money can come after. But now you have the money and you're doing a job that you love, and you won't work a day in your life. I know people in my friend circle that, got good paying jobs right away, but that wasn't what they were passionate about. Now, 5 or 6, 7 years later, they're making money, but they're not happy. They're not looking forward to Monday. They can't wait for the weekend. And your job, if you think about it, majority of your life, you're doing this. You might as well like it or be passionate about it. So now I feel super lucky that I'm in a job that I'm super passionate about and I love, and I don't feel like I'm working at all. And the money comes after. I guarantee you that if you're passionate, you will put everything you can into it. The money comes. So I'm not even 30 yet, and I feel like I hit the jackpot.
That was really awesome, what you just said. All that stuff was perfect. Now I'm debating whether or not to even ask any more questions. I just wanted to see if there was one other one here. I'll ask one more. This is like, I guess it's specific, but with Stadium Live having such a global kind of, because you have people in Australia, how do you wrap your head around like the content in terms of making sure that you're reaching all of, some places it's 2 a.m. So like, how much effort goes into managing that?
Yeah, no, definitely. We are a global app. We have people, mostly English speaking countries like uh, England, Australia, Canada, US. So the majority of our users are North America. So that's the bulk of our content, the bulk of our scheduling, streams, catering to this market. We do have discussions about how do we make this like a 24 hours thing. So some ideas where maybe we repurpose streams that we did during the day, we replay them at night so that people in Australia can watch the stream and engage and participate. So these are discussions that we have all the time. And I think as we get bigger, it is something that we really have to drill down on. So those are some of the recent ideas that we had of reposting streams at night so that more people and globally can enjoy our product. So
That's really awesome. Anything else you want to end with before we
yeah, guys, guys and girls. Sorry, I can't really see the full class.
It's okay.
Don't be afraid to fail. I trust me. I failed so many times, and it sucks. It is the worst feeling in the world. I've been rejected for so many jobs that I was this close of landing, and it sucks. You know, you kind of feel like nothing's happening. You're done. You're miserable. But I promise you that if you get back on that horse and you keep pushing and you keep trying everything that you can in your power, you'll be happy with the result, whether you get it or not. And life, it sounds cheesy, but this is true. Life isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. You know, you feel like you have arrived, but then you look back at what it took to get you there and you appreciate that even more. So there's going to be ups and downs. You're going to fail, but just keep gunning for it because what you really want to do is you want to be passionate about what you do for work so that you don't work a day in your life.
All right, and we're going to end with one student who raises their hand to ask a question. I have no idea what he's going to ask.
Okay.
He's kind of a loose cannon.
Here we
So,
go.
Lewis, what's your question? What?
Oh wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with your current occupation?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years with your current job? If you didn't hear what he said.
Yeah, me in 5 years, I'm still with Stadium Live, moving up the ranks in the content team. Right now, there's 4 of us. I imagine in 5 years we'll have a bigger team of 20 to 50. Just kind of managing that. For
Awesome.
sure.
Awesome. All right, their bell's gonna ring. Thank you so much. This was better than anything I could have said to them. And have a great day, and we will see you in Stadium Live.
Yeah, thank you for your time, and Coach, thank you again for the opportunity. Guys, this guy is your guy. Trust me, he cares. Listen to this guy. Add him on LinkedIn.
Thank you. Bye,
All right.
Hans.
Peace. Bye.